Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Mrs. Tao back here today. Today I'd like to do a video on a question that I get all the time, and I just thought it would be good to have the information here for information sharing purposes. And the question is, how do you become a chartered accountant? So today I just want to focus on talking through the process from the beginning up until when you are a qualified chartered accountant, meaning you have those 4 letters after your name, CASA. So I do hope you find this useful and you definitely do share with all the people whom you think it would be helpful to. And yeah, before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, press the subscribe button, like the video, and definitely do comment. So first things first, when you then decide that you want to become a chartered accountant one day, the big question is, where do you go study? And in South Africa, there are universities that are accredited by SAICA. SAICA is the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. This is a professional body where all CAs register under. So eventually, when you do qualify as a CA, you can use CASA as a designation only once you've registered with this professional body, which is SAICA. So SAICA then has specific universities which they accredit their degrees. So you find that many universities have a BCom accounting degree, but not all BCom accounting degrees will result in you one day becoming a chartered accountant. So at the beginning, it's very important for you to do your research and to find out which universities offer a BCom accounting degree that will result in you becoming a CA one day. You will then find that each university has different points or marks that you must meet as a minimum to qualify and be accepted to study the accounting degree. So then it's important for you when you're studying in high school to know that, okay, these are the marks that I need to get as a minimum. Remember, those scores or those marks are minimum for you to be considered, but obviously when there are a larger group of people that actually have exceeded the minimum, they have higher chances of getting accepted at university. Great, we're now at varsity, we're studying the right CA degree, right? You are in first year. What should you expect? So in first year, what you find is that you do a lot of courses across commerce. So you won't just do accounting specific courses, you also do courses like statistics, you do economics, just across the commerce stream. So whether someone is specializing in BCom economics or actual science, you find that you guys in first year do very similar courses. Now we're in second year. The interesting thing about second year is that now you start focusing purely on what you're here for. So you're here to do CA. Your 4 big courses that you do in varsity as a CA student up until you qualify will always be financial accounting, auditing, taxation, management accounting and finance. So it's 4 because management accounting and finance is usually combined into one course. So from second year onwards, you start focusing a lot on those 4 courses. For second year, you need to make sure that you get the minimum marks so that you can get to third year. Getting just the 50 is not enough for you to go to third year CA stream. So you can continue, because you've passed the courses, you can continue with your accounting degree, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be in the CA stream. So in the CA stream, you find that each year you have to pass courses with a minimum certain mark. So that's important for you to find out. And also additionally, you need to pass all 4 of your core courses together. So it's not enough for you to pass just 3. For example, you pass your auditing, you pass your tax, you pass your accounting, but you don't pass your management and finance course. So from second year onwards, for you to move forward in the CA stream, you have to pass all 4 together. If you don't pass all 4 together and you still want to continue in the CA stream, that means then because you failed 1 or 2 or whatever number, you are forced to repeat the whole year, the prior year, but repeat all 4, regardless of the fact that you've just failed 1 or 2. I hope that's quite clear, but yeah guys, that's very important. In 3rd year, you pass and you graduate, and that's awesome. However, again, to get to honors, accounting honors, you still need to get a certain mark for your 4 key courses. So if you graduate in 3rd year and you have just 50s, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get into accounting honors and continue on the CA stream. So in varsity, guys, if there's anything you take from what I'm saying, is that in varsity you need to understand how the scoring works, what are your key focus subjects that you can't afford to fail, or if you fail these, they add a certain year, and the ones that don't really have significant implication. So that's what you need to focus on. Accounting honors is a very hectic study year. This is the year that separates the man from the boys. But really, this is the year where most people I've realized give up on the CA dream. This is the most technically challenging year in your studying, and you really need to give it your all. I found that my life really just revolved around studying, and it was a worth it sacrifice looking back, but it really does take a lot from you. And yeah, it's possible to make it, definitely is, but this is a year where you really need to put your head down, and this is a year where there really is a separation of who gets to continue with the CA route or who doesn't. And at the end of that year, then you have your degree, you have your honors, then you need to look into articles. So let's say everything goes well, you spend 3 years doing your degree, you spend a year doing your honors, you spend 4 years at varsity. Then you need to consider your training. These are your articles. This is where you're gonna go and spend 3 years to be trained in the workplace to become a chartered accountant. This is very important because those 3 years really shape your career. The most popular option to do your articles is at an audit firm. You can either go to a big audit firm. Your big 4 is PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, and EY. I went to KPMG. Or you can go to the medium-sized firms and the small-sized firm. So that's the auditing side. The alternative is that you can go to industry. So you can go do your articles in other businesses. I know banks, for example, offer articles. Retail companies offer articles, and some government institutions offer articles. But those are your main options. It's either do it in an audit firm or outside of audit. So it's very important for you to do your research then and to understand which route you want to take, because then it does determine the type of opportunities you're going to have once you qualify as a CA. I did do a video about whether to do your articles in audit or outside of audit. I'm gonna link it in this video at the end, if not now, so definitely make sure that you watch that. You'll find it very useful. So once you've decided then that, okay, fine, I'm doing my articles, let's assume it's a big 4 firm, you've signed up, you've done the interviews, and they've accepted you, and they've offered you the 3-year training contract. You're now in your 5th year, which is the start of your CA training articles. So you will register with SAICA, your employer will do so. They will register with SAICA and say this person is with us and she'll be training with us for 3 years to qualify as a chartered accountant. We will give him or her all the practical exposure that he or she needs in order to gain the skills that are needed for a CA. So at the end of the 3 years, SAICA will then make sure that you've gained all the competencies through your training at your workplace that are needed for you to be a CA. So throughout your 3 years, your employer will be checking certain competencies and ticking them off as you progress in your articles, and they will be dealing directly with SAICA. On your side, in addition to that part, it's important for you to then know that there are 2 board exams that you need to write once you are doing your CA training articles. The first board exam, you do it at the beginning of your articles. So let's say you graduate in December, everyone then the next year who's still on the CA stream in January they have to write their board 1 exams. So typically your training contract starts on the 1st of January, but because you then have to write these exams, you'll be on study leave, and they're going to give you time to study for your board 1 exams, which are the exams that the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants will set up for all the students across South Africa who are at that stage of learning and want to continue to become CAs. The most important thing about board 1 exams is to understand what is needed at that stage. What is needed at that stage is your understanding of all the work that you've done in your undergrad and honors. So the board 1 exam is very technical. You need to understand your numbers. How you prepare for that is literally you spend your whole December and January going through your undergrad and your GDA work, but mostly your GDA work will prepare you for those board 1 exams. So if you've done well in your GDA, CTA, accounting honors year, you should be in a position to do well in your first board exams. After your first board exams, then you go back to work in January and you start doing your training. What's nice about your training is that you get paid while doing it. Obviously, you're not a CA yet, so it's quite a reasonable amount for you to be able to survive, have a place of your own, have a car, and so it's a comfortable salary, but you're not paid as a qualified chartered accountant yet, right? Then you do your first year of articles, and hopefully you would have passed the first board exam that you wrote in January. If not, I know they usually have rewrites in June, so people are given an opportunity to still rewrite board 1 exam in first year. In second year of articles, this is when you're expected to write board 2 exams. So board 2 exams, they're also still set up by SAICA. And the key thing with this board exams is that now you've had a whole year, close to 2, of working, right? Because the board 2 exams are written at the end of second year of articles. So you're sitting at about 2 years of working full-time as a trainee. And in this board exams, you're required to not just show up technically in terms of knowing how to calculate certain things and understanding the numbers, you're also expected to show up professionally. So then how do you speak to the numbers, how do you explain what certain things mean to someone who doesn't necessarily have an accounting background, because that's what you do in the workplace. So your second board exams need you to explain a lot of things, so it's not just number crunching. I personally really did enjoy my second board exams. Spent the second year of my articles, preparing for it, being in groups, discussing certain things. Then by November, at the end of the second year, I then took those exams, and then those marked as the final written exam that you have to sit down for in order to qualify as a chartered accountant. Then let's assume you do make it and you pass at first try, which is great. So you finish your exam second year, November, January, you get your results and you pass. You're in your third year of training articles. So what is important this year, which is the third year, is the fact that you're now senior at work. So the expectation for you in third year of training articles is to really take a leadership role and to take ownership of the work and to supervise people and to also train other junior trainees. It's really good for the soft skills. You learn to speak to the people in business, to speak to the seniors in your company. And yeah, at the end of the third year, you really become a well-rounded professional who's ready then to become a chartered accountant. At the end of that year, your training company will then tick off all your competencies that SAICA needed you to get throughout your 3 years of articles training, and they'll say to SAICA, this person is ready to be registered as a chartered accountant, and that is when you're gonna get your CASA at the end of your name. That is very exciting. We all looked forward to the end of our training articles. So at that point of then becoming a chartered accountant, which has taken 7 years, because remember, 3 years undergraduate degree, 1 year postgraduate degree, which is your honors, CTA, PGDA year, and then the 3 years of articles. The 3 years of articles: year 1 you write board 1 exam, year 2 you write board 2 exam, year 3 you just focus on training. That takes a whole 7 years for you to become a chartered accountant. It could be more, but minimum should be 7 years. What is then important at the 7th year mark, at the end of it, is for you to decide, what do you want to do? Because really at this point, the world is your oyster. You have opportunities across many different companies, many different industries. Remember, at this point, you're an expert in finance and management accounting, you're an expert in tax, you're an expert in auditing, you're an expert in financial accounting, which is then why those 4 key courses are important in your undergrad and throughout. Because when you're a chartered accountant, you become an expert in these 4 areas in business. That also means you can work across any of these 4 areas. And the opportunities at this point are really great and very rewarding. Yes, I did say as a trainee, you don't get financially rewarded that much. But once you then have that designation of CASA and you've registered as a chartered accountant with the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, you definitely get financially rewarded well for any role that you're going to go into. It's important for you to think about what you'd like to do after becoming a CA quite earlier in your studies. But I mean, you can learn about more things and more opportunities as you go. I personally didn't stress a lot quite earlier. I just focused on qualifying, and then when I was in my articles, I then started to think about what I want to do. But anyway, I've done a video about the opportunities available. Where do chartered accountants work? That is the video that I've done. I'm also going to link this video at the end of this one. I hope I've added value and I've clarified the journey for you to then qualify as a chartered accountant in South Africa. If you have any other questions, definitely do comment. Obviously, not everyone's route will go as per the 7 years exactly and passing everything at the same time. There will be variations. Not everyone complete the studying in 7 years because the journey is long, the journey is challenging. But what I can definitely tell you is that the journey is worth it and the journey is doable. Always remember that there are people ahead of you that did this route and they've made it and they've qualified, and you can too. Hey, that's what I did. I looked into the people who qualified prior me, and I knew that, you know what, I can do it as well. And as a person who is a chartered accountant today, I can definitely tell you that you can do it as well. So good luck, guys. All the best. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks to everyone. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye, guys. Thank you.